there is a significant risk of human extinction from advanced AI systems.
Japan now faces very severe aging problems. I would like to solve these problems.
We don't currently know how to steer these systems, how to make sure that they robustly understand in the first place, or even follow human values once they do understand them.
I love the technologies. I would like to create such kind of technologies to contribute to the human and human society. Even the brain nerve systems can be connected to the cyberspace.
This is a rapidly evolving technology. People do not know how it currently works, much less how future systems will work. We don't really have ways yet to make sure that what's being developed is going to be safe.
This AI recognize human being also the one of the important living things.
This very small group of people are developing really powerful technologies we know very little about.
People's concerns about generative AI wiping out humanity stem from a fear that if left unchecked, AI could potentially develop advanced capabilities and make decisions that are harmful to humans. As the world grapples with the implications of this rapidly evolving field, one thing is certain: the impact of AI on humanity will be profound.
With new AI technologies, you can realize a fusion between the human side and technology side. This one is the world's first wearable cyborg. Cyberdyne trying to create the very innovative cybernetics technologies, especially focusing on the medical and healthcare fields for the human and human societies. My name is Yoshiyuki Sankai. So I'm a professor of University of Tsukuba, Japan, and also the CEO of Cyberdyne. Let's create the bright futures for the human and human societies with such kind of AI systems.
I personally want to have an impact on making the world better, and working on AI safety certainly seems like one of the best ways to do that right now. Many public intellectuals, many professors, scientists across industry and academia recognize that there is a significant risk of human extinction from advanced AI systems. We've seen in recent years rapid advancements in making AI systems more powerful, bigger, more generally competent and able to do complex reasoning, and yet we don't have comparable progress in safety guardrails or monitoring or evaluations or ways to know that these powerful systems are going to be safe. My name is Gabriel McCoby, or Gabe, you can call me. I'm a grad student at Stanford, and I do AI safety research, and I lead Stanford AI Alignment. This is our student group and research community focused on mitigating the risks of advanced AI systems.
Well, like mitigating weapons of mass destruction, you know? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Everyone can get behind that.
These more catastrophic risks, unfortunately, do seem pretty likely. Many leading scientists tend to put some single-digit or sometimes double-digit chances of existential risks from advanced AI. Other possible worst cases could include not extinction events, but other very bad things like locking in totalitarian states or disempowering many people, concentrating power to where many people do not get a say in how AI will shape and potentially transform our society.
AI has become such a divisive topic. There are a lot of valid concerns. Some believe it could lead to job losses, increased inequality, and even unethical uses of AI. However, AI also has tremendous potential to benefit humanity. It could help us tackle some of the world's biggest problems, such as climate change, disease, and poverty.
では今日の取り組みで、これまでいろいろ話をしておりますこのサイバーフィジカル空間と人というものが融合したこのサイバニクス領域の開拓、これが人とテクノロジーが特に身体というその物理空間の世界と脳神経系というその情報を扱う領域、そしてこのテクノロジーが融合したそしてさらにそういったものがでこうして一つ一つ積み上げながらやっているとですね、いろいろヨーロッパとかアメリカではこの脊髄損傷とかストロークのところでも一応は承認は取れておりますけれども、HAL detects the very important human's intention signals from the brain to the peripherals. If the human wish to move, then the brain generates intention signals. These intention signals transmitted through the spinal cord, motor nerve to the muscle. Then finally, we can move. HAL systems and humans always work together. 20 countries now use these devices as a medical device.
I think there's definitely great ways AI technology is used in medicine. For example, there's cancer detection that's possible because of image recognition systems using AI that allows for detection without invasive tests, which is really fantastic, and early detection as well. No technology is inherently good or evil. It's only humans who are doing this. Of course, we should be thinking about long-term impact in terms of the direction in which we're taking the technology. But at the same time, we also need to think about it less in a technical sense and more in terms of it impacting real-life humans today. Japan, I think, is quite optimistic about AI technology. There's a lot of hype at the moment. It's like a shiny new toy that everybody wants to play with. Whenever I go to the US or Australia or in the EU countries, there's far more a knee-jerk kind of fear or concern. I was quite surprised, to be honest.
Meetings on Wednesday are every Wednesday. Oh, wow. So there's usually some guests we bring in or some other SIA researcher who presents. Then we have boba afterwards.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Yeah. Kind of like a research lab.
Yeah.
Happen to have an HDMI adapter to USB-C. Something to plug in. Oh, you did plug in.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry, I'm hallucinating. Yeah.
I'll pass it off to our speaker, Dan Hendricks.
The Wednesday meetings are really good for inviting new people to. It's nice to meet some new students, talk about why you're interested in AI safety or not.
So if you're wanting to synthesize smallpox, or if this is a chemical place like mustard gas, you can do that. Access is already high, and it will just be increasing across time. But there's still an issue of needing skills. So basically, you need something like a top PhD in virology to create a new pandemic that could take down civilization. There are some sequences online, which I won't disclose, that could kill millions of people, actually more dangerous. Yes?
So with the access thing, a lot of people bring up labs and, oh, you maybe don't just need to be a top PhD, you also need some kind of biolab to do experiments. Is that still a thing?
So this would, it depends on like how good the cookbook is, for instance.
Excuse me? Certainly there are people who come in with disagreements about like, oh, powerful AI is not coming for a long time, or doesn't seem like important to work on these things. We could just, let's build an accelerator or whatever. There's a large potential, especially for
people doing engineered pandemics to cause a wide range of harm in the coming years. Now, there are other instances of catastrophic misuse that people are expecting too. One is with cyber attacks. We might have AI systems in the coming years that are really good at programming, but also really good at exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities, exploiting software vulnerabilities in secure systems. Maybe the top use case of AI will be making money. You might see a lot of people being defrauded of money. You might see a lot of attacks on public infrastructure, threats against individuals in order to extort them. It could be a wild west of digital cyber attacks in the coming years. Beyond that, though, there is a pretty big risk that AI systems could actually get out of the control of their developers. We don't currently know how to steer these systems, how to make sure that they robustly understand in the first place, or even follow human values once they do understand them. They might learn to value things that are not exactly aligned with what we want as humans, like having Earth be suitable for life on it, or making people happy. I was fortunate to have a very supportive family. Especially a few years ago, AI safety was a lot less mainstream. So there was always some uncertainty of, hey, is this going to be actually something that's helpful in the first place? Are you going to have a stable job? Things like this. But as time's gone on, as we've seen a lot more capabilities advancements, a lot more people raising the alarm for AI safety and AI risk, it tends to be like every few days, my mom will send me something like, hey, have you seen this new thing? Unfortunately, some of the worst case risks, a lot of experts think there's a pretty significant chance of them. Many scientists put single or double-digit chances of existential risks from advanced AI. There's a recent interview where the US FTC chair said that she's an optimist, so she has a 15% chance that AI will kill everyone.
My vision is a little bit different. We could create the AI systems. This one is the one of newly created species, I think. Generative AI system is different from the simple programming systems. It has a growing up functions. This AI recognize human being also the one of the important living things, like one of the animals. And because the human is also one of the living things, they recognize the importance of the humans. They try to keep our societies, our cultures, and circumstances. We human beings have some problems, aging problems or disease and accident. AI systems or some technologies with AI systems will support the some functions.
どうもすみません。今日はありがとうございます。そうです。私も。いや、お久しぶりです。お元気そうで。はい、元気です。ちょっとうるさいから。今お孫さんの方はどんな感じなんですか。ゴルフの。この間ね。はい。素晴らしいです。もう。どうも素晴らしいです。いや、僕こんなにご健康になってるってのも嬉しい限りですよね。
Japan now faces on very severe aging problems. Average age of the workers in agricultural fields is now almost over 70 years old. Average. Wow.
2、3、4。はい。タイヤだけ固定させて。
これ動いちゃうよ。よし。よし。上がんないね。
いやいや、よく上がってる。丁寧に。はい、いきます。
私は彼女が倒れた時にから自分ではもう一生介護しなくちゃいけないっていう覚悟をして。
ちょっとかかったね。
ね、うん、ちょっと回りすぎちゃった。はい、
下向くとダメだね。
もう仕事や何かも全部、彼女の介護にやろうということでやめたんですけれども。はい、ありがとう。ないやな。はい、OK。やはり最初はお医者さんの方でもう肩麻痺で歩くことはまず不可能 それからこれからの生活では全介護ですね。介護の人がついて生活しないともう無理ですよっていうお話をされました。
院長先生が来てね、ロボット来ちゃうよって言ってた。それロボットって。はいはいはいはいレッツゴーレッツゴーレッツゴー。
もうこんな早く動けるとは思わなかったもんですから、わずか2ヶ月で普段の生活まで戻れるようになった。
終わってその後走ってるね。
I would like to solve these aging society's problems. In my childhood, my mother bought me microscope or some electrical parts. Every day I spent a lot of time to have such kind of experiments and challenges. I love to read a science fiction book, I, Robot, written by the Isaac Asimov.
If you've heard about AI in the last couple years, chances are the technology you heard about was developed here, the breakthroughs behind it happened here, the money behind it came from here, the people behind it live here. It's really all been centered here in the Bay Area. A lot of the startups that are at the leading edge of AI, so that's OpenAI, Anthropic, Inflection, names you might not yet be familiar with, they are backed by some of the big companies you already know that are at the top of the stock market. So that's Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google. And these companies are based here, many of them in the Bay Area. So for all of the discussion that we've seen about AI policy, there's actually very little that tech companies have to do. A lot of it is just voluntary. So what we are really depending on as guardrails is the benevolence of the companies themselves. So Gabe, I think, is an example of a lot of the young people who are coming to the movement now, who are not ideological, who are really interested in the technology, who are aware of its potential harms and see this as the most important thing that they could do with their time, their opportunity to work on what many of them call like the Manhattan Project of their generation.
You have to realize that unlike some other very general technologies that have been developed in the past, AI is mostly being pushed, especially the frontier systems, by a small group of scientists in San Francisco. And this very small group of people are developing really powerful technologies we know very little about. Some of this maybe comes from a lot of historical techno-optimism among especially the startup landscape in the Bay Area. A lot of people are kind of used to this move fast and break things paradigm that sometimes ends up making things go well. But as is the case, if you're developing a technology that affects society, you don't want to move so fast that you actually break society.
Pause AI wants a global and indefinite pause on the development of frontier artificial general intelligence. So we're putting up posters so that people can get more information. The AI issue is complicated. A lot of the public does not understand it. A lot of the government does not understand it. It's really hard to keep up with the developments. Another interesting thing is that most of us working on this have no experience in activism. What we have mostly is like technical knowledge and familiarity with AI that makes us concerned. AI safety is still very much the minority. And then actually a lot of the biggest AI safety names are working at AI labs. I think some of them do great work, but they're still much more under the influence of the broader corporation that's driving toward development. I think that's a problem. I think that somebody from the outside ought to be telling them what they need to do. And unfortunately, the case with AI now is that there aren't external regulatory bodies that are really up to the task of regulating AI.
From the same mouth, you're hearing, this thing could kill us all, and I am going to keep building it. I think part of the reason you have so much resistance to the AI safety movement is because of the dissonance between people who talk about their genuine fear of the consequences and the risks to humanity if they build this AI god. So much of the debate around here has these really religious undertones. That's part of why they say that it can't be stopped and shouldn't be stopped. It really feels like, you know, and they talk about it in that way, like I'm building a god, and they're building it in their own image, right?
I love the human and human society, and I love the science fiction. I would like to create such kind of technologies to contribute to the human and human society. So I love to read the science fiction books, and also I love to see the movies in science and fiction. Terminator's movies also one of them also, yes. But unfortunately, some movies in US or European areas, most of the cases, technologies always attack the humans. In the actual fields, technologies should be a work for the human and human society, I think.
In the movie The Terminator, classic movie, Cyberdyne is a fictional tech company that created the software for the Skynet system, the AI system that becomes self-aware and goes rogue. Cyberdyne's role in the story is to represent the dangers of AI getting out of control and to serve as a cautionary tale for the real world.
Is Cyberdyne named after the firm in Terminator?
No. In Terminator stories, that company's name is Cyberdyne Systems. Yes.
Obviously, at some literal level, maybe you can unplug some advanced AI systems, and there are definitely a lot of hopes. People are trying to actively make it easier to do that. Some of the regulation now is focused on making sure that data centers have some good off switches, because currently a lot of them don't. In general, this might be more tough than people realize in the future. We might be in a state in the future where we have pretty advanced AI systems widely distributed throughout the economy, throughout people's livelihoods. Many people might even be in relationships with AI systems, and it could be really hard to convince people that it's okay to unplug some widely distributed system like that. There are also risks of having a military arms race around developing autonomous AI systems, where we might have many large nations developing wide stockpiles of autonomous weapons, and if things go bad, just like in the nuclear case where you could have this really big flash war that destroys a lot of the world, you might have a bad case where very large stockpiles of autonomous weapons suddenly end up killing a lot of people from very small triggers. So probably a lot of catastrophic misuse will involve humans in the loop in the coming years. They could involve using very persuasive AI systems to convince people to do things that they otherwise would not do. They could involve extortion or cyber crimes or other ways of compelling people to do work. Unfortunately, probably a lot of the current ways that people are able to manipulate other people in order to do bad things might also work with people using AI or AI itself manipulating people to do bad things.
Like blackmail.
Like blackmail, yeah.
Another important thing is Homo sapiens changes the very awful wolf to pretty dog. Homo sapiens has, of course, the similar excellent brain and technologies and partners. Now we are here. So what's next? We human being, Homo sapiens, obtain the new brains, okay? Additionally, the original brain plus brains in the cyberspace. Also, we fortunately have the new partners, AI friends and robots and so on, okay? Robotic dog also. Yeah?
What worries me a little bit more about this whole scenario is that AI technology doesn't necessarily need to be a tool for global capitalism, but it is. It's the only way in which it's kind of being developed. And so in that model, of course, we're going to be repeating all the kind of things that we've already done in terms of empire building and people being exploited, natural resources being extracted. All these things are going to repeat itself because AI is only another kind of thing to exploit. I think we need to think about not just as humans who are inefficient, humans that are unpredictable, humans that are unreliable, but finding beauty or finding value in the fact that we are unpredictable, that we are unreliable.
So probably like most emerging technologies, there will be disproportionate impacts on different kinds of people. A lot of the Global South, for example, hasn't had as much say in how AI is being shaped and steered. At the same time, though, some of these risks are pretty global. When we especially talk about catastrophic risks, these could literally affect everyone. If everyone dies, then everyone is kind of a stakeholder here. Everyone is potentially a victim.
20% is the total correctness of the quizzes. Students versus how many non-CS students? Do you still plan to just keep doing research? I know there was the PhD versus grad school.
Yeah. I am somewhat uncertain about grad school and things, where I think I could be successful, but also maybe with AI timelines or with other considerations, trying to cash out impact in other ways might be more worth it. Median OpenAI salary, supposedly $900,000 US.
Oh, wow.
Which is quite a lot. So yeah, it seems definitely the industry people have a lot of resources, and fortunately all the top AGI labs that are pushing forward capabilities also hire safety people.
I think a reasonable world where people are making sure that emerging technologies are safe is necessarily going to have a lot of safeguards and monitoring. Even if there's a small risk, it seems pretty good to try to mitigate that risk further to make people more safe.
Peace and the military side are very near. I carefully consider how to treat it. So when I was born, there is no AI systems and there's no computer systems, but current situations, the young people start their life with AI and robots and so on. Some technologies with AI will support their growing up processes.
People have been pretty bad about predicting progress in AI. 10 years in the future, there might be even wilder paradigm shifts. People don't really know what's coming next. But I suppose David beat Goliath. There's still some chance.
The vast majority of AI researchers are focused on building safe, beneficial AI systems that are aligned with human values and goals. While it's possible that AI could become super intelligent and pose an existential risk to humanity, many experts believe that this is highly unlikely, at least in the near future.